Assalamu alaikum. In the previous session, we have completed revision of chapter number 4, Globalization and Indian Economy. Now today I am going to discuss about few important questions here. NCRT questions I will provide you soon. Today I am going to discuss a few questions here, basically long questions. So, your first question is, what is globalization? Explain two positive and two negative impact of globalization. So, what is globalization? As we have seen earlier, globalization is the process or rapid process of integration or interconnection between economies. Integration and interconnection between economies called globalization. Now, in the previous session, we have seen to, as well as in the regular discussion, we have discussed about this, about globalization and its impact. That means globalization has two faces, positive and negative. So let's count two here as mentioned here. Many times different questions here bifurcated in different steps. Like here, this question is about three steps. Let me elaborate here. First, what is globalization? If you answer of this question, you will get maximum 1 mark. I said maximum 1 mark. Second, explain to positive and to negative impact of globalization. 2 mark for positive and 2 mark for negative. So 1 plus 2 plus 2 is equal to 5. This is the marking scheme of this question. Similarly, different questions have different marking schemes that actually according to CBSE guideline provided by CBSE for this marking scheme in your board question paper as well. Alright, so if you write meaning of what is globalization, no matter how you write, if you write in 2 or 3 sentences or if you write that 2 or 3 pages maximum, you will get 1 mark. So you have to write accordingly according to 1 mark. And here asking two positive and two negative impact of globalization. So in this case, each of two carries 1 mark each. That means for positive 2 and for negative 2 marks. Alright. So first, positive impact of globalization. Availability of variety of products with greater choice and quality, that also at affordable price. Benefit to us is actually many things counted in one positive. You can make it 2 3 as well, 2 3 points, like varieties of goods available in the market that we get from foreign multinational corporation, either produced by them or imported from other countries. One point. Second point, due to competition in the market, we get various products, high quality of products at affordable rate. Right? 2 points. Three, we can write that we get various product with international standard of quality, and that too at affordable rate. Those are advantages. More, creation of new jobs and higher standard of living, that counted to here as various products available at affordable rate. So people actually live better life standard compared to earlier. And multinational corporations create job opportunities in our country by setting up their offices and their plants here in India. Those are few of the positive impacts. Now, negative. In negative, thousands of uneducated and unskilled laborers have become jobless due to closure of domestic units. As multinational corporations are wealthier, we know, right? Big it is, I mean that they have a great influence on the market. as well as big items, they are wealthier. They have so many subsidiaries company, they have so many plants and offices, they are richer, bigger. So here they have new inventions, they have machineries. So production in most of the multinational corporations done by automatic robots, automated plant, what we call, right? So they don't need the labors more. Yeah, they need, but not much compared to small domestic units. So, due to arrival of small multinational corporations, small domestic units shut down. We have seen example of Ravi, a capacitor maker, an entrepreneur, businessman. This is the actually a negative impact on Indian workers. Indians actually in context of India, otherwise for workers. Next, most of the small industries like toys, tires, plastics, dairy products have been hit hard due to foreign competition, higher quality of products, lower rate, right? And they are able to they are able to sell their products at lower prices, affordable to them because they are wealthier, they are rich, they are bigger. Those are some of the disadvantages. Next, here, next question. Explain relation between liberalization of foreign trade and foreign barriers. We have seen first trade barriers, right? Also called it tax barriers. So government puts some trade barriers to control the foreign trade, control and regulate foreign trade. And liberalization, what is liberalization? Liberalization is removing of these trade barriers. So let's give the answer. The points I am going to discuss here. State the relation of liberalization. Here, liberalization of foreign trade and trade barriers relation. So first of all, meaning here, liberalization of foreign trade refers to removing barriers or restrictions set by the government. Liberalization is removal of trade barriers or restrictions. Alright? Second, government can use trade barriers to increase or decrease foreign trade, increase or decrease foreign trade, regulate foreign trade, control foreign trade, and to decide what kind of goods and how much of each should come into a country. On the contrary, the government has much less restrictions. Business are allowed to make decisions freely about what they wish to import or export. So here in trade barriers, government regulates foreign trade. Government decides what to import, what to not, what to export, what to not. And second, how much of each quantity. Limited that if wheat then 1 lakh metric ton, not more than it. Just an example, right? So here government regulates foreign trade in trade barriers or in through trade barriers or restrictions. But in the case of liberalization, government generally does not interfere much. Government allows business firms to make their decisions freely according to market requirement, according to consumers requirement. They order and they import and export goods. That's all. Third one, trade barriers aim to protect the domestic producers from foreign competition. We have seen earlier why trade barriers are required to give protection to domestic workers, domestic firms, domestic business. So basically, trade barriers aim to protect the domestic producers from foreign competition because multinational corporations are wealthier, they are powerful, they have power to manage their competitors. They can punish their competitors within short period of time. So here, through trade barriers, through restrictions, government provides them protection. Next, while in the case of liberalization, government wants to improve performance of domestic producers and government allows competition in the local market. And domestic producers can only survive if they improve their quality, if they decrease their price. So here, improvement in their performance. Fourth point, trade barriers refer to law, institution, or practices which make trade between countries more difficult or expensive than trade within countries. Restrictions are there, laws, institution, right? Governments, eyes on foreign trade. These all things make foreign trade more complicated. We can't make foreign deal easier. We have to look at governments, institutions, governments, agencies, as well as different laws, restrictions. For example, tax on imports, limitation on imported goods, right? As well as quotas. Like if I want to import a thing from a foreign country, I have to look at various things. Does government allows it or not? If taxes are there, then how much do I need to pay? Lots of things are there. What if government send an inquiry on me? Lots of things may there. While removing such barriers, removing of restrictions or trade barriers, set by government, which is called liberalization. So in that case, no longer need to think about those many things as long as your imported things are legal, legitimate. If legit, then no issue. So these are the relations between foreign trade restrictions or barriers, and at the same time liberalization. Now the next question, easier. But listen the question carefully. What stimulated the process of globalization in India? Seems like alien question. Never heard about it. Again, I am repeating. What stimulated the process of globalization in India? Here, answer is very simple. Factors that have enabled globalization. We have seen major factors divided into three. We can divide into four as well. I suggest divide into four categories, four factors. Let me remind you, let's recall what we had learned before. First, technology in transportation. Right? Remember now? Alright. Remember, you know? Second one, information and telecommunication technology. And the third one, liberalization. These 3 points. So let's discuss these 3 points in brief. During the last 50 years, several improvements in technology have taken place. Technology in transportation. For example, in transportation technology, containers now are used for transportation of goods. Second, continue. This has led to huge reduction in cost and increased speed in reaching in the market. Containers, true containers. Second point in it, transportation became cheaper and faster due to new technology in transportation. Transportation through ships or aeroplane or land transportation is comparatively cheaper and faster compared to before. This is in the first point, first factor. Second factor about telecommunication and information technology. So, second, telecommunication facilities are used to contact one another around the world and to communicate from remote areas easily. Information technology, computer, smartphone, and internet enables us to send various electronic uh, files, actually, that here through electronic mails or through cloud computing, we can transfer various data very fast, actually, rapidly, within seconds, and all those things at negligible costs. Third one, the government of India has removed barriers or restrictions to trade which were set earlier. This step called liberalization, which has enabled goods and services to be exported and imported easily. We don't need too much hassle for uh, goods which are under liberalization policies. Multinational corporations have been allowed to set up their factories and offices in India. Due to this, there is greater integration of production and market across countries. At the same time, we also sell our goods in the international market. We also sell our services in the international market, outsourcing. Those are advantages to us. Now, here, one last question I am going to discuss here. Describe the impact of globalization on Indian economy with example. Similar question like the question we had discussed in the beginning, impact with example. Here we need to describe along with example. Example, there are no fixed examples. You can set your examples as long as you have idea about various points, various impacts. So let's see the first one. Increase in foreign investment. Over the past 20 years, foreign investment has increased. As we know that many multinational corporations have set up their factories and offices in India. We can give example of Samsung Electronics Limited. They have their offices as well as retail chain and their factories in India as well. Second, emergence of Indian companies as multinational. Several of the top Indian companies like Tata Motors, Bajaj Auto, Infosys, Ranbaxy, Sundaram Fasteners, and there are many other companies. You can find out about them. They have been able to get benefit from the increased competition created as a result of globalization, and those companies became multinational themselves. Third one, creation of new opportunities. Globalization has created new opportunities for Indian companies, particularly companies in the IT sector, like call center, designing, software designing, as well as graphic designing, research and development. Those companies are getting advantages of globalization. Next, creation of new jobs. Globalization has created new jobs and has helped in reduction in employment rate to an extent. Next, a host of services such as data entry, accounting, administrative tasks, engineering are now being done cheaply in India. So advantages to the Indian people as well. So here there are few questions which we have discussed here. Few more questions I will provide you soon. Thank you so much for watching video.